I don't know why they keep doing this. The New Balance 1906R has by all accounts a very successful year, especially when it comes to collaborations. The momentum for this model started all the way back in January of this year during Paris Fashion Week, when we saw this model pretty much take over the runway. One of the sneakers featured at that event has finally released, and it came out in 2 different colorways. I got both of them right here, and in this video I'll be reviewing the New Balance 1906R Comems Des Garcons. So these sneakers have now released at several retailers for a very high retail price of $275 or 280 euros. And no guys, that's not inflation. That's just your typical Comems Des Garcons markup. The retail prices on pretty much every Comems Des Garcons release in the past has been kind of absurd. You had the 550s, which I believe came out earlier in the year, that were retailing for around 300. Same with the Air Max Sunders and pretty much every other Comems Des Garcons you can think of. If I remember correctly, I think those foam posits even retail for 500. And in my opinion, I don't think these prices are very warranted, because it's not like you're getting a super premium upgrade in materials or anything. With those 550s that came out this year, honestly, the leather on that was not that much more special than your regular 550. So I certainly didn't think those shoes were worth the price, but what about these? Let's find out. Now the 1906R this year has actually had some very high profile fashion collabs. And these also right here, the collaboration with Danish brand Gani. And now we got one with the very popular Paris-based label Comems Des Garcons, who are no strangers to New Balance collabs. Starting off with the box, you are paying nearly $300 for the shoe, so of course you can expect a very premium box. So here it is. Nah, I'm playing. You literally get the exact same box you get with any other New Balance, which already for me, I'm very confused about, because that was something that I just kind of expected. I just expected getting a premium box with this shoe. Let's hope at least the shoes make up for it. I got both the colorways. Let's start off with this multicolored white and black pair first. Typically, if we look at some CDG collabs in the past, then you should already be quite familiar with the white and black colorways being used. The white pair right here, now the one premium element of this sneaker is that it does feature leather panels instead of your typical synthetic leather. This time you're actually getting some premium leather panels on this shoe. And the leather is very soft, like it's definitely a cut above what you would get on most New Balance shoes. But the thing is, there's barely any leather on the shoe. The majority of this upper is made out of mesh. What I like the most about this colorway in particular though is just how the shoe looks in person compared to the pictures. Because in person you'll notice that this mesh upper is not actually all white. In fact, at the back it starts off with kind of like a grayish color, and it has sort of like a gradient finish to it. The mesh in the middle panels have more of a cream tone to them. It's something that's quite nice to see up close. I don't think if you have these shoes on feet, however, that anyone would be able to tell that from just looking at the shoes. You got that nice little subtle flex, the Comems Des Garcons logo right on the tongue, done in some smooth leather. The Comems Des Garcons logo can also be seen on the insole of the sneaker. The shoes come with that N-lock technology as well, which we've seen on all 1906s. Personally love the way 1906s feel on feet. That N-lock technology, because it's so integrated to the mid panels of the shoe, really give you that locked in feeling, which I really like compared to how the 2002s feel like on feet. And here you'll notice that the loops that go through the N logo are actually done in a somewhat contrasting cream tone. The laces look kind of funky on this sneaker. Yeah, that's because these type of laces are called shore laces. It's not something you typically get with 1906Rs. On the back of the sneaker, you see that black plastic heel counter. The inner lining of the shoe is done in kind of like a light gray color. Yeah, I'll say guys, I'm not at all mad about this colorway. I like this colorway a lot more than the all black pair. I think the black midsole and outsole actually make this quite an interesting looking pair. Very quickly, if you've been watching my channel for a while and you haven't already subbed to the channel, then make sure you do guys, because it really does help me out. But now let's talk about the other pair, which is this all over black, triple black colorway. Now I'm personally not really a guy who's into all black sneakers, especially ones that have pretty much no contrasting elements at all. It's just a murdered out black shoe, very stealthy looking. Typically not a huge fan of these. However, I know there's so many of you out there who absolutely love black sneakers, and if you do, this is a decent premium option. It features that same premium leather, some pretty soft leather panels here. However, I gotta be honest, recently there was another all black 1906 which released, which was the protection pack, also came in leather, and the leather on those pairs honestly don't feel that that much different than what you get here. I would even argue that those pairs are more interesting to look at because of those uneven cuts of leather. So if I wanted a triple black 1906R, I'm definitely rather going for those over these, considering what these retail for. However, these do have the CDG logo though. Also, this is something that is very difficult to pick up on camera, but what I do notice from looking at the shoe up close is that there's actually some slightly contrasting tones of black on the mesh uppers here. Some of the panels are done in a much darker tone of black than some of the, I would say, a dark gray color on some of the mesh, but there's really no way you'd notice that unless you look at this in the light from up close. The one thing these shoes do have going for them though is that they are super comfortable. The 1906R is definitely a type of New Balance that you can just walk around in all day, and these colorways, I guess they're quite versatile. You can pull them off with many different outfits. And when it comes to sizing on these, so I was able to get the white pair in my size. I didn't get the black one in my size, unfortunately, so I can't show you an on feet of that one, but the white pair does fit me quite well at true to size. That's how all 1906s fit. If you have wide feet, then I would even suggest going up half a size here, because maybe because of the leather on these. But when I compare them to my Gani pairs, for example, I do feel like these Commes Des Garcons fit slightly tighter. I do love the way the shoes fit on feel though. It's a very secure feeling. It's one of my favorite New Balance sneakers to walk in. Overall, my final thoughts on the New Balance 1906R Commes Des Garcons. Are these a cop or a drop? Well, to keep it 100, to keep it absolutely honest with you guys, I really just do not think these shoes are worth the money. If you want a white 1906R or even a black one, there are other pairs which are sold for a lot cheaper. If you want these solely for the branding, I still think you're going to be left feeling a bit disappointed because there's really not much CDG branding on this. To me, from afar, these kind of just look like some GR colorways. I understand that CDG most typically does make quite subtle colorways in most of their collabs, and they are almost always white and black, but I do think that because the 1906R, we have already seen other white and black pairs of the sneaker, these just don't stand out for me enough to actually justify the price, and neither do the materials. So for me, these are definitely a pass, but I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on this CDG New Balance collab? Am I being a bit too harsh on this sneaker? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to keep up with me, especially on the daily, then make sure you're following me on Instagram. That's where I'm dropping a ton of content, and I respond to pretty much all your DMs. So if you have questions for me, definitely let me know on IG. The link to my sneaker podcast can be found in the description as well. Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you got. Thank you very much for stopping by once again and for supporting the channel. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.